We're back to the Total Education Celebrity Show on the Total Education Network. Again, TotalTutor.net for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor. Neil S. Haley, Facebook. LinkedIn, Neil Haley. Instagram, Total Tutor. And, it's very interesting. I'm getting this new resume of interviewing Canadian athletes. I thought, that'd be in hockey, right? No, it ends up being in the Olympics. And I have another unbelievable Olympic athlete. And anytime I get to interview a gold medalist, it's fantastic because they have reached the highest level. And so I'm so excited to welcome the program 1992 gold medalist Mark McKoy. Mark, thanks for calling, and look forward to talking to you today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show, Neil. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, Mark. And I talk to so many different athletes about, once their careers are over, it's just such a difficult situation for many athletes because they're so used to training and doing all these different things and these engagements and constantly being scheduled to now it's time to go on to another career and life after sports. So, Mark, once you decide to retire from the hurdles, how difficult was that to do?
For me, it wasn't that hard because, number one, I was old. When I won in '92, I was 30 years old. I was the oldest to win the hurdles. And by the time I'd retired, I was almost 35 years old. So by then, I'd been running for, better part of 20 years internationally, and I just about had enough of it. Plus the fact that I'd actually accomplished something that, I really wanted, which, as you can imagine, most athletes don't get the opportunity to do that.
Well, absolutely. It's something, Mark, that they don't get that opportunity, and by not getting that opportunity to reach the pinnacle, they constantly don't want to stop because they have that ultimate goal. You reached your highest peak, you reached your ultimate goal, and now you can retire in the sunset. And in the U.S., if you pick up a gold medal, you pretty much have a good opportunity and a lot of networking possibilities. Mark, is that the same case of winning a gold medal in Canada? Because you don't hear about a lot of Canadian athletes winning a gold in the Summer Games at all. So I guess you were an oddity in many ways.
Exactly. It's completely the opposite up here in Canada. Like you said, my gold medal for Canada was the first in 60 years. So it's not like, you guys get 60 per games. We get, one gold medal every 60 years. We've had one more since then, and we haven't had any since that one. So it's very rare up here, but we don't get the accolades that you do in the States. Like, people don't follow track. They follow hockey. So unless you're on the ice, you don't get a lot of recognition. There's not the glory. There's not the endorsements. It's basically good job, and then you get on with your life. So it's a choice we make. I love track. I could have played hockey. I could have played football. I could have done a million other things, but this was my love, my passion, and I was quite happy with what I got.
Absolutely. And so when you finally did retire, because you were an oddity in certain ways, that helped in marketing yourself and stuff, being one of the only gold medalists in the history of the Summer Games from Canada?
Well, unfortunately, again, like I said, it meant a lot to me and the people in my close circles. But
not to
Canada after the Olympics is gone, it's like, oh well, let's move on to hockey. Hockey's coming up. But like I said, that didn't bother me.
Okay, so Mark, basically from there, and so basically, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do once life after sports? Did you have an idea?
Actually, I had no clue whatsoever. As you said in the beginning, we had one focus. I did go to university, but I didn't finish. I actually went down to the States. I went to Clemson, and I went to LSU. But my focus was on training. So when I finished, I really hadn't prepared. I didn't know when it was going to come. I was injured. It wasn't a disappointment. It wasn't a big transition for me to retire, but it was because of injury, because it's hard to heal when you're getting older. So I really had no clue. And the funny thing is, I was actually just at a wedding, a buddy's wedding of mine, and a couple comes up to me and he says, well, I was in the middle of the 96 season. They said, well, what are you going to do now that you're retired? And I was the last one to be aware that I was retired. So I started to put on my thinking cap at that point.
Okay, so once you put that thinking cap on, and I think that this is very interesting about the relationship of having you on the show, Mark. Again, you're involved definitely with life after in so many ways in what you do, and I've been talking to athletes talking about how they again, coach life after for the newest athletes who are looking to transition. So you had no idea. So that could be a really bitter pill to swallow, because I've heard of this all the time. I had Leonard Marshall on from the Giants. He had an idea after he retired, but he talked about so many NFL athletes having no clue what to do. So in your process of I guess, looking over things and saying, well, what can I do? Did it take a long time to finally figure it out?
Luckily, it didn't. Because I was a gold medalist, it made life a little easier. I can understand. Like you said, most athletes, they have no clue, and they didn't have the hardware in order to, translate into something profitable. But I actually went into a bunch of different things related to health and fitness. I went into the martial arts. I had my own clubs. I did a lot of personal training, team training, things like that. And it's not something that I really wanted to do. I really wanted to, I've said I've been in track for, over 20 years. And I was like, last thing I want to do is train anymore. I want to drink beer, just like Michael Jordan said, drink beer and get a pot belly and get fat. But when people keep throwing money at you, they say, like, we want you to do this. And I'm like, you know what, I'm not interested in training, but, we'll give you this much. Like, not interested, we'll give you this much. And eventually there comes a point where, you say, okay, I'll do it. And I've been doing that from 1996 to this day. And so, like I said, because I was lucky enough or worked hard enough to get a gold medal, it made my life a lot easier than it does for most athletes.
Because you're wanted by other athletes. You reached the highest level. So even though in Canada it didn't help you, it helped you with your reputation across the world, saying that Mark McKoy, gold medalist, especially for a country that doesn't put the money into it as does the United States into their athletes in the summer games. They said, you know what, this is the guy we need to have on. This is who we need to learn from. And so even though you didn't want to do it, you did finally do it. And once you started doing it, did you enjoy it? It sounds like it if you're still doing it, right?
Actually, well, I'm in a transition right now because I'm really getting old now. And, I can't keep saying, do 10 more of those for the rest of my life. But I did enjoy it. But you know what I found most interesting is again, we're talking about Canada. My family's here, so I didn't really want to go too much. I've been traveling my whole life. I didn't want to keep traveling. So I got away from training athletes because, number one, athletes don't like to pay for anything, being one. I know that. Either if you're an amateur athlete, you don't have the money, and the pros up here don't have the money like the pros down there. I went into training executives, and executives love to just say they're training with a gold medalist.
Oh, wow.
So they're willing to pay for that type of, not that they need that quality of training, but they just like to have the clout to tell their friends they're training with a gold medalist.
Interesting. So you're training them physically. Executives. You're
right.
not okay. So you're still a personal trainer, but you're training, instead of training athletes, you're training others. So in that process of doing that, in a lot of ways, you really are fighting a lot of those executives' issues that they don't have the time to train. I've talked to a lot of them. They train at different times. The work day of an executive is how long? They put in a lot of hours, don't they, Mark?
Exactly, they do. And I'm usually done my training sessions by 9 a.m. because I start at 4:30 or 5 in the morning because that's the only time they have.
So at least they're putting the time in. And a lot of times when you're working with these guys, are they ready just to go? Are they ready to really train hard, or are they at a certain point in their career, right? I mean, there's a certain point in their executive where they've let themselves go in certain ways.
Exactly. Most of these guys are A-type. They're, like I said, they're executive CEOs of big companies. They're driven. They know they need to do this, and they want to get in there. And the type of training that I've always done, and I tell people all the time, is like, don't waste your time going to the gym for hours and, watching TV as you walk on the treadmill. Get in there. It's everything in life is about intensity. It's like, go in there, do it like you mean it. You can get out of there in 45 minutes and be on your way and feel great and get a lot more accomplished than you could if you went the regular route.
And so they did that, and then you were able to see success. Do you think the gold medalists, but also you got to be able to make sure that they have progress, they show progress, correct? You can.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. And what do you think? What do you like most about training, Mark?
Training. I always tell people that this is not what I do. This is who I am. I've been training since I was 10 years old. I remember doing my own training programs. I don't know where I got this from, but as a kid, because I have 5 brothers and sisters. We have no athletes in the family. My parents weren't athletes. It's something that I've always done forever. And, it's health and fitness I think is the most important thing in anybody's life.
Yes.
I know I'm an athlete, but God rest his soul, but Steve Jobs is like, you can have all the money and the power and fame in the world, but without your health, you have nothing.
And that's so true. So through that process, you live it and breathe it, and that's why you decided to find your niche. And Mark, this is the thing you did, is you took this is your brand, Gold Medalist. How many people in the world could say they were a gold medalist? And that especially in an area where so many people want to get in shape and say, hey, look at my trainer. My trainer's a gold medalist. And you used that platform of the gold medal to help have a career after sports. So it worked out in so many ways, and it kept you in shape, and it kept you not being, like you said, Michael Jordan with the pot belly. And would you ever want that now? Probably not. Your thought process is more and more, you like how alert you are and what you're doing, right?
Right. I mean, I say that all the time in jest, but there's no way I can get up in the morning without working out. It's just impossible at this point.
So, Mark, do you plan on doing? You said you're getting a little older. Do you plan on doing personal training much more, or what is your thinking?
No, I'm actually, as we speak, going through a bunch of different things. I found that using the mentality of an athlete at that level translates into anything. Like before I started personal training, I'd open up 2 martial arts studios in Toronto here. Something that I always wanted to do, the martial arts, loved it as a kid. Never done martial arts in my life, never run business in my life. And within a year, it was one of the most successful clubs in the area. We had like 1,000 students, where most clubs had students for about 100 to 150. And it's just the same, it's the same mentality. It's like when you have to be the best. You have to do it whatever it takes, get up at whatever time, work the hours it takes, and that's driven me to be successful there. Now I used to be a real estate agent, and I have most of my clients I've trained for better part of 10 years now. Once I get them, they don't leave. I don't turn over clients very often. But he's one of the most successful and one of the biggest moving companies in Canada. And we've been batting around different ideas of things we can do other than train, because we train together every day. And he goes, I have all these people. I move 100,000 people a year throughout Canada and in the United States. And he says, we should combine that and do, moving and some other things, with real estate, because his network is so large. So, I love a challenge. I like change. I like to try new things. And so this is the area where I'm going now. And, I have no doubt that it will be successful with the people I surrounded myself with.
Okay, so is there, Mark, a place where any of your business ventures where they can find information on you so they can get involved in the process of helping promote what you're trying to do now? Because it looks like you got a lot of different other entrepreneurial opportunities. What would you say is the best place to find all that information?
Well, okay, right now, nothing's up anywhere. I do have my training website, which is just markmckoy.com. And that's where I do all my personal training from. But I will always use my name no matter what I get into. Like, this is a brand new venture I just started literally less than a month ago. I'm also doing some mentoring, I think, with Trilogy, which is athletes mentoring athletes. I'm just getting into that. I've just started that from around Christmas time. This year, I just wanted to get into other things. With training, I was getting sort of complacent. It's just really easy. You get up in the morning. Yeah, I do well at it, but I want to do more. I want to give back more to the community. I want to have more time for my family. So anything that I will be doing, which is, like I said, I've just sort of taken this year to say 2014 as a year of change and adding to my portfolio, and it will all be eventually posted on markmckoy.com.
Well, you have to let me know, Mark, and update me and come back on the show for sure, and definitely do that. And I guess we definitely have a groundbreaking person and one of the only one of the few Summer Games gold medalists. At least you're not telling me I'm making a comeback to go into hockey now, right? At least take the brand of hockey to the next level. But Mark, it was great talking to you, and best of luck to you. And definitely let me know. We're friends on Facebook. Let me know and give me an update once you know when your business venture's ready to start to get more promotion. We'll have you back on, okay?
Will do. The pleasure to be. And I got 2 fitness books I just wrote, by the way. Just remember that. So, and they'll be up there too.
All right, Mark. Well, definitely, you got a lot of different things to promote. So we'll definitely have to talk off air and figure out a ways of how we can help each other out. So good talking to you, Mark.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks,
take care.
Neil.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, you're listening to the Total Education Celebrity Show on the Total Education Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.